Hello everybody, welcome to World of Warship Blitz, and this is my second and probably final attempt at Battle Royale. Not because I don't like it, but because I actually prefer playing against other... I prefer the standard games, just me. I sort of like Team Skirmish. I wish I was on a bigger team. Sort of running around by myself in a sort of deathmatch situation. Isn't really why I got into the game. I quite like the cooperative or semi-cooperative nature, because it is an internet game after all, approach, but I thought I'd give this a try. This is the $1,000 map. It's a huge map. This is quite a long game because being Battle Royale, 15 ships down to 1. Last person standing. Now the first game I took La Glaçonnière, the tier 6 French cruiser out, which of course has 2 turrets at the front, 1 turret at the rear, terrible for kiting. I was the 11th ship out of the 15. So I thought, right, well, let's take something a little bit, well, to my mind, stealthy. So I can be a stealthy player. I'm often not a stealthy player, but when I need to be, I can sneak through gaps. And I thought, right, let's take the Anshan out. Now, what this means is that my tactic needs to be... basically let everybody kill each other. To be fair, that's probably not a particularly sociable tactic, but it's not a sociable game. If you haven't noticed, it's 1 against 15. So whatever tools you've got in the toolbox, you pull them out, you put them on the table, and you give them, dust them off, and you give them a use. And here I am, sort of cruising around now. It's interesting because at this point, the game is... well, there's not a lot of ships, and the reason there's not a lot of ships is because no one is spotting for me. I am spotting for me. So I'm surprised at this point that I've got this long without basically seeing anything at all. Now that should change shortly, because at some point, well, there goes the Bajani. Bajani was the one that took me down my La Glaçonnière, actually, to be fair. So yeah, anyway, I won't have to worry about that, because that would be something very much to worry about in this little Anshan. So essentially, I want the last survivor, apart from me, to be a destroyer. That's basically the gameplay. Because if it's a cruiser, well, that's not good. And if it's a battleship, well, that's even worse. So let's open up the distance between me and this Farragut. I hit him hard, get him to move out of the way. I don't want his torpedoes. He's stuck into the island. We hammer as much out of him as we can, and he disappears from sight. I'm now detected by something else because, of course, I fired. And there go his torpedoes. Okay, then. Note to self. Shoot destroyers, don't torpedo them, which is fair enough, because that's exactly what I attempted to do. So this should be reasonably... Oh, I'm gone undetected, so whatever detected me is on the other side of this island, probably. And whatever has detected me is probably a destroyer, because, well, I haven't detected it. Or have I? What have we got here? So... this is a battleship. Now, I've sort of had 2 thoughts about it, and what I'm going to do is I'm going to remain... I'm quite central, so it's not like I have to worry about the border, but I'm going to remain reasonably close to this battleship, and the reason for that is that battleships are very visible, and things that want to take on the battleship will make themselves visible by opening fire. Which means that I'm less likely to be gazumped by something just coming out of the mist in the middle of the game and, yeah, blatting me. So there's another battleship there. Those 2 battleships are going to have a bit of a... well, they're going to have a bit of a disagreement by the looks of it, so I'm not going to get into the middle of that. I'm just going to maintain that distance so that I can keep them observed. Yeah, keep your friends close to you and your enemies closer. Oh, hello, there's another ship. Oh, and there's another Bajani. Well, it's not a good day to be a Bajani, is it? There's New Mexico there. And he's basically... well, my problem with New Mexico is that if he's the last ship standing, I'm screwed. badly in trouble, because basically he has extremely good torpedo protection and I have pathetic torpedoes, and there's no way I can gun him down. So I don't need that New Mexico to survive. I need that New Mexico to, well, I need him to sink, and that means that I probably should help this process along a little bit. And so there I go. One spread. Oh, the electromagnetic storm has taken down a New Mexico. So there's an AFK player. Wow, that took a lot of... Oh, this guy's running for his life. This Nuremberg, that's a bit of a shame for him, because yeah, he's got to stay ahead of that, and that means that he's going in a straight line, so that's really unfortunate for him, but rather fortunate for me. Let's see whether or not he is going in a straight line. Well, it looks like that Farragut is, well, yeah, that Nuremberg's got a problem. I certainly don't want him being the last ship in the game. And that Farragut looks like he's about to take the healing circle. So every time a player sinks, there's a little sort of circle that heals the player up, which is good, because otherwise what would happen is it would absolutely reward what I'm shamelessly doing at the moment, which is skulking around and not doing much. So this is the New Mexico again. He's pretty close to the edge, so he'd better get a move on, because he's not that quick. We're going to give one set of torpedoes, because who knows? And this, who knows when I'll need the second set. This Aoba is doing pretty good. They took down a Molotov. I'm going to get only one hit on the New Mexico, which is, well, better than none, but the pathetic amount of damage that you saw going on there is the exact reason why I can't afford this New Mexico to be the last ship. Here we go, just in range, and we'll give him another, we'll tickle him with another set of torpedoes. He's quite happily steaming away from that electromagnetic storm as fast as his tiny little screws can carry him. Oh. And he's taking the straight line approach, which is, oh, well, useful from the standpoint of, yeah, there we go, give him one more. It's a bit off so that I couldn't hit the island, and so if he turns or slows, he'll get the full brunt. And it looks like he's got a friend on the other side of Farragut, who must have opened fire for me to see him at this sort of distance. And I've got 2 hits with the torpedoes, which is, well, there we go. That should do the trick. He's obviously got hit by the torpedoes from the Farragut as well. So I'm just stealth torping him, which the Anshan can do particularly well if you've got the historical camo and the concealment modification. Because what the historical camo does is it increases your concealment by 4% and increases your torpedo range by 4%, which is a fantastic combination. And oh dear, that Farragut's health went up to full strength. We only have 3 destroyers left. It's time for me to start doing some actual work. I have AP loaded here, and he is, yep, he's taken his punishment. He's probably fired his torpedoes, although his angles haven't been particularly good. This is probably the time where I have to start to worry about it. He must have used up all his smoke, or his smoke is on cooldown, because if I was him, I'd probably try and stop this pain at some point. There he goes, and for the turn, that's definitely going to put torpedoes in my path, except I cross back the other way. So I've got to stay behind. There's an imaginary cone that sticks out from the side of a ship, and as long as I stay outside that cone, I don't really have to worry about his torpedoes. Now that cone, I'm definitely in that cone now, but by going to the island, I prevent him from being able to put torpedoes in my path, because he'd have to cut across the island. And here we are, we're coming out the other side of the island. So what I'm going to do is put one there, another one there, just really cut the end off. Okay, then punish him if he tries to spring out. He doesn't try to spring out, which is, I take it wide. Now he's probably stuck in that island somewhere, or maybe he's gone back the other way. I'm detected. Nothing's on the mini-map. There he is. Bet you he's launching torpedoes now. There they go. And there's one set. Oh, he's gone in the smoke. And there's the second set. I'm in the smoke too. And yeah, unfortunately for him, he's all out of torpedoes. So we'll just have to flush him out of the smoke. He must know those torpedoes are coming. I'd know those torpedoes are coming. What I'd do if I was him is I'd angle in. But he's gone to the island side, and well, it takes a lot of killing of destroyers, these little pop guns. There we go. Oh, and we've got the electromagnetic storm creeping up through him. I don't know if he even hit me. I'm looking pretty much on full health, although I might not be if I go through that storm. But basically what I want to do is I just want to grab one of these things. There we go. If I wasn't on full health before, I am now. Right, let's head back into the centre. One destroyer remains. Those other destroyers must have fought each other out, which means that I'm up against a full health destroyer. Now I have 30 seconds left before my smoke reloads. There he is. He's not full health, so he must have... So what we'll do is we'll put 2 sets of torpedoes in the water, which is really disarming ourselves, but we've got in 18 seconds, we've got smoke coming in. He fires 2 sets of torpedoes. Right, so now it's just down to a gun battle. I've got my guns turned onto the right side. It's not really any issue in doubt with both torpedolists. Yeah, and I have way more health. And that just about does it. Boom. Taking out the Farragut and the win in the Anshan by shamelessly sneaking about. Now this game will probably be quite different in battleships, and my experience in cruisers have been that they're just not tanky enough. Maybe that's just me. Maybe I do need to explore this a little bit more. But anyway, there's the Anshan. Sneaking around and being generally surreptitious. Damage 53,000, so that's not bad damage. I think a lot of people must have been done by the electromagnetic storm. Pity about that poor Nuremberg who got 62,000 and was taken out early. 3 kills, 68 hits, 8 torpedo hits, 1 flooding damage. For a 13-minute game, not a lot of damage done, but a lot of sneaking about. Anyway, I hope you found that educational. Thanks for watching, and we'll catch you next time.